I'm sure you can see by this machine behind me, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of having a tire machine, and obviously whether it's a justified cost or not. And it's going to be very different for everybody, but here's our point of view on it. I stumbled across this machine when I was on a trip, and I did very little research at all before buying it. The only thing I really knew about it before we bought it was that it would do up to a 17-inch rim. Some people would claim that they'd been able to do 18-inch rims on it, and that it was not the most gentle machine on the wheels. So like if you were going to use alloy wheels, it's probably going to damage them. So the car you see behind me on this Camaro, I'm not going to mess with the wheels on that, but I would absolutely do the wheels on my truck, trailers, any of our farm implements. And that's actually the reason we bought it. I picked this thing up for 300 bucks. And I know that seems like a lot, sort of, for a machine that I'll probably use, 10 times a year. Maybe not even 10 times, honestly. It just depends. So between the side-by-side that you've seen over here beside me and our implements, that is really what we're going to use this on the most. And the reason I say that is because we live in a very rural community, and by that I mean there are no tire places. There's one that's real close by, a mile and a half away, Weber's, and they do great work. But the problem is that their busy time is my busy time. So when hay season rolls around, they're not able to accommodate as much as when it comes to tire repair. That's typically what holds us back. We'll get a flat tire on mower conditioner or a baler, a wheel rake, side-by-sides, something that we actually need. Not so much the side-by-side, I can get by without it, but the implements I have to have. And when we're doing hay, we're racing the clock. I'm completely dependent on weather cooperating with me and machinery not having any breakdowns and able to just roll through and make hay. Too often it happens that we get a flat and the Webers aren't able to help us because they're doing their hay, and the next closest place is Houston, Missouri, and they have lots of tire places. There's 3 or 4 of them. But it's not as simple as just saying, hey, I need to come in and get a tire repaired, because like us, there's other people that need tires repaired as well. And we go from being able to get one tire repaired in, if it's Weber's, for instance, hopefully within 30 minutes or so, to having to drive 30 minutes, waiting to get in, and then driving another 30 minutes back. So all in all, it's generally a 2-hour plus process by the time the whole incident happens. This is going to mitigate that for us. Now, while we have never had hay go bad, for instance, like our baler has never gotten a flat tire. I shouldn't say that, now it'll probably happen, but we've never been able to not make our hay and get it put up before weather, kind of made it poor quality for us. Having all that said, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this video, and one, show how this thing works and if it was worth the money. Oh yeah, that would be flat. I'm sure you could tell from the last little clip that we have a perfect tire as a candidate. First thing we got to do is set this on the machine. And you can see right there, there are 2 different rods coming up. Now one of them, obviously, lines with this stud, or whatever stud hole you want to use. The other one is for this cone. Put this down there, wiggle the tire around a bit, make sure that we got it in there good. All right. That's clearly our hole right there. It's leaking pretty good too. So now that Gage has found the hole in here, we're gonna go ahead and take this tire off so we can patch it. I'm pretty confident that there's not an inner tube inside of here, but we'll see for sure once we open it. Now before we get to actually breaking the bead, we need to take the valve stem out. And that just allows the air to escape, especially if you have an inner tube in there, because if you do have a hole in it, it'll make that hole bigger if you don't. That up, set it right here. You See, it's just that simple with a machining at least. Now under here you can probably see that there's another piece that goes up there and pushes that up. You can also see that the center piece right here is turning, and that's actually what's going to drive the bead breaker, or not the bead, the tool that helps get the bead off. This tool came with the machine. I don't know what it technically is called. Probably like the Coates tire combo tool or something like that. I'm putting this part on here. I know this is not what it's necessarily designed for. However, when this puts pressure on the tire over here, it'll keep the tire from being able to pop off and I won't have to hold it, I think. Just kidding. Oh, there we go. Yep. And that worked like I thought it would. Beautiful. Worked. What? You can probably see that we've loosened the rim up so I can spin it around and make an easy path to get all this bead cleaned up with this wire wheel. What I'm hoping is that you can see this arrow right here, which I think you can. This arrow marked where my valve stem was. Right here we marked this is where our hole's at. So I want to look on the inside to see, what do we see? Don't really see anything that says, hey, there's a hole here. All right, so right there is where our hole is at. We went ahead and put that through just so we could see and confirm. This went right through it, didn't take any pressure at all. Should be able to see our patch right there. Yep, you can see it. So patch is there. It actually ironically was really close to where the valve stem was. Ooh. Belle, you better stay over there. Somebody might lose a toe over here. Beautiful. All right, that's back on. I've moved you around so you can see this gauge right here. This is going to show how much air we're putting in, and then this also has a 7.5 gallon, I think they call it a bulk tank or a blast tank, where it's going to shoot a whole bunch of air right into this to help seat the bead. And it worked. Further inspection of this, chances of it leaking again are pretty high. You can see these tires are really dry rotted, and an inner tube is probably in its future. But even then, if it leaks down on me again, or if it just completely blows, I have the ability to take this tire off the rim, switch it out with a new tire, and go about my business. That is really handy for us because, again, if you live somewhere kind of remote like we do in South Central Missouri, where businesses are kind of few and far between because it's primarily farms. And even then, I'm the only farm around here that ended up buying one of these because the others just didn't see the value in it which I agree. If I was paying $1,000 or more for one, I wouldn't have bought one. But when I found this one on Facebook Marketplace for 300 bucks, kind of made it to where I was committed, and right away I went and seen it. So I do like how Facebook Marketplace will see where you're at and, you know, tell you about things that are near you that you might be interested in. So pretty cool win. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video informative and useful, and stick around on the channel. I'm sure you're going to see us use this again. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed week, and we'll see you next time.